So, our Symbiotic everyone, welcome to the Symbiotic Sync. This is the session number 6. And today we have Henrik from the Symbiotic core team joining us in these sessions. So, maybe Henrik, please give a brief introduction about yourself and what you do in Symbiotic.
Yeah, so I'm a protocol specialist. I work directly with the networks that we are onboarding and that are integrating with Symbiotic. And essentially, I need to understand how each of those networks work exactly when it comes to the smart contract architecture. And then I essentially try to map out an integration from the staking standpoint. That's exactly what Symbiotic does. We help those networks to build their staking components and implementations. So I just need to understand exactly how it will fit with each network individually. And then I manage the integration process with those networks directly. So I interact mainly with like the CTOs, the devs, like the protocol team of those networks essentially.
Amazing, amazing. So you are in the same team with Edgar, right? Because like I
Yeah,
remember
we are
Edgar
all
always join us
part
in
of
the
the
same.
ecosystem team. Exactly. Yeah,
Amazing.
Felix as
I see.
well.
Sounds good. Okay, so I think like in this session we also have so many news people who just joined in our community. So I know that maybe they also want to know what is Symbiotic all about.
Yeah. So Semantic is this universal staking framework developed to allow networks, L1s, L2s, bridges, to build their staking components and implementations. So an L1 needs staking for the consensus mechanism. An L2 may need staking if they want to decentralize the sequencer, for instance. And a bridge also needs staking if you have like multiple operators interacting between each other and issuing and verifying messages on different chains. So we, with this universal staking framework, help them to build this staking implementation. So we have the Symbiotic vaults that are set up only in ERC20 assets. These vaults are managed by curators. That can be liquid funds, node operators that are also curators like P2P, and risk managers like Gauntlet and Steakhouse Financial. And essentially, these curators, they need to define the risk-taking strategy. And this risk-taking strategy includes allocating the collateral that the stakers deposit in the vault across operators and networks that they want to work with and provide economic security to. So let's say that we have a network on mainnet, can be Tensi or Ditto network, for instance. It will be onboarded to one or multiple Symbiotic vaults because a curator onboards them. They want to provide economic security to Ditto or to Tensi. And then they will also onboard an operator that can be Chorus One, P2P, Kiln, that is running the software for, or the binaries, we call them binaries, or those specific networks, Ditto or CapEx. And essentially, a curator that can be MEV Capital allocates specific collateral that user deposited across Ditto plus Chorus One or Tensi Network plus P2P or Kiln. So they define these strategies through the Symbiotic Vault. And Symbiotic is this marketplace, the framework, the infrastructure that allows networks to get economic security, curators to define the strategies, and operators to be on board to run binaries or software to additional networks, essentially. And the staker.
Very, very amazing. Yeah, thanks for sharing this. Okay, so I think I hope you guys, everyone here, learn more about symbiotics after Henrik mentioned about
It's also
what
fully
symbiotic.
permissionless to set up those
Yeah,
vaults. So anyone can just come to our front end. We have the Vault Factory accessible through the front end, so it's fully permissionless in that sense. And the vaults only accept one ERC20. So usually you'll see those networks like Tensi, CapEx, Ditto, relying on more than one vault for their economic security. Because like if they rely only on one specific vault, that could be like the vault that accepts their governance token, then it would be like extremely volatile and they would have the risk related to the volatility of a single asset in that sense. So they usually rely on multiple vaults, which is like ideal in that sense. And yeah, I mean, it's like having your own portfolio of stocks, safer if you diversify.
Amazing, amazing. So, so my next question will be something around the product side. So, as we know, Symbiotic right now, you guys are working on some of the development behind the scene, right? So, what we really want to know is like, what are some of the latest updates in terms of the technical development so far?
Okay, yeah. So the main focus right now is on the Relay SDK to allow those networks, Ito Capex, Tensi, all those guys, to integrate with our core contracts, with Symbiotic infrastructure in general. So we released already publicly the alpha version of the Relay. We'll be auditing it very soon, and the beta version should be live just like 1 or 2 months. And we'll want to have everything fully live on mainnet audited at least by the end of the year. But yeah, the Relay SDK, it's essentially a set of smart contracts, so on-chain contracts, plus an off-chain sidecar network that whose purpose, which purpose is to allow networks to have settlement and verification in as many chains as they want. So let's say that we work with a decentralized Oracle network that deploys and provides price feeds on base Arbitrum optimism. So let's start with EVMs. But they want to issue the token on Ethereum mainnet and let's say BNB chain. So they will have the token available on those two. So for instance, on Ethereum, it's easier because Symbiotic vaults are deployed there. So they can set up a vault for the governance token on Ethereum. On BNB chain, we can work with a vault partner. It could be Melo, for instance, to deploy the vault on that chain. But as I mentioned, they want to work with lending protocols, for instance, if they are a price feed provider on 3 different chains that are totally unrelated to BNB chain or Ethereum. In this case, can be Arbitrum based on Optimism. What the relay allows you to do is to source the data, the voting power, and the stake information that you have on BNB chain and Ethereum, aggregate that data and deliver the message and all the information to base Arbitrum and Optimism. So you have staking in 2 different chains and you want to deliver that data with settlement on another 3 different chains, for instance, totally unrelated to the chains where you have staking. So yeah, it's composed of like smart contracts on the staking chains, smart contracts on the final or destination chains. And in between, you have an off-chain sidecar network, which is composed of like operators as well. But everything that they run is off-chain. They interact with APIs, with the contracts, the on-chain contracts, but the core component of that logic happens fully off-chain. So yeah, it's essentially a tool to allow the networks to have multi-chain verification, as we call it. And yeah, because we also need to deploy the contracts on the staking chains, and it's also easier for them to integrate with Symbiotic natively because we provide them with the examples of the contracts that they need to deploy. So it works as an SDK as well, a relay and an SDK. So it's the relay SDK, and everything it's easier for them in that sense.
Oh, that is super, super sick to hear, to be honest. And I think we also have some of the information about Relay on our website as well, right? So if the community wants to learn more about the Relay, you guys can have a look on our website as well. There will be a Relay section on the, like on the Symbiotic website. You can just have a look on that as well. So yeah, that is very good to hear. Henrik, thank you so much. So my next question. Recently we saw a cross collaboration between Symbiotic, When Network, and Infra Singularity. So can you share more about this and what is the impact for Symbiotic? Yeah.
I will try. I wasn't covering Van on my side individually, so I'm definitely not
I see.
the right
Yeah, maybe you
person
can
to
share
discuss
just a
it, but
little
I
bit.
will try.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So usually like on the eco team, we like allocate verticals across the team members. So yeah, I'll be covering mainly intent networks, plus some DeFi products, including CAP and stablecoin issuers. On the Van side, so essentially they work with this framework called Vanguard. And I believe that essentially what they are planning to do and like to run when it comes to the logic is that essentially they want to make sure that data on-chain data and transactions on-chain are secured before like being fully finalized on mainnet or on any other blockchain. So they work with the wallets as well, and essentially they want to have like an insurance layer. If, for instance, the transaction is reverted, then they will still be able to recover the funds if they are backed by staking or collateral on the Symbiotic vault. So in this case, they are working with Infra Singularity, which is one of the node operators working with Symbiotic. So those are the guys that actually run the logic that Van wants to implement. They run the binaries, as we call them. And then like the activities of Infra Singularity are going to be backed by the collateral that we have on the Symbiotic vault. If they then like misbehave, if they like approve a transaction that shouldn't be approved or anything like that, then they would be slashed from the Symbiotic vaults and will lose the collateral that they have there. In this case, I assume that they will implement burn mechanism, because we also have a redistribution mechanism in place for slashing. So they can, Van Network in this case, they can either choose if they want to slash and burn the funds that are on the vault, or if they just want to like reallocate or redistribute the collateral to other stakers in the vault. So the operator, in this case, if for Singularity, could lose the collateral, and then the other operator, Kiln P2P, would be earning additional collateral to their nodes. But yeah, it's essentially a securing slash insurance mechanism for the Van protocol.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I think this will help Symbiotic a lot to, help us to make a better product in that sense. So that is very cool to hear, to be honest. Thank you so much, Henrik. So
Yeah, that's our goal as well.
yep.
For sure.
Apart from that, I also heard about a big news about that we had like we was going live with Chainlink, CZIP, and Lombard, right, to power the first economically secure cross-chain Bitcoin transfer. And I think this is very, very huge, right? So I also think that the community also want to know more about this thing as well. So could you please share a little bit more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. They are probably they are definitely one of our biggest partners, both of them actually, Chainlink and Lombard. So they are huge, even when it comes to market cap of the tokens LBTC and then Link token itself. So yeah, essentially on the CCIP side of things, the mechanism is similar to what we've seen recently with Layer Zero's DVN when it comes to the implementation itself. So, and that's what we also did with Hyperlane recently. So essentially, you'll have specific routes between two chains that can be secured by a particular token. Let's say that, and in this case, it's going to be LBTC bridged from Ethereum to other chains by the CCIP architecture and infra, but will be allowing Symbiotic stakers on Symbiotic to secure the route. So you'll have operators that run the CCIP from Chainlink on both chains, and they will be either emitting messages or verifying messages. Emitting messages on the first chain, and then verifying the messages on the destination chain for LBTC from Lombard. And these operators that are emitting and verifying messages will be backed by stake collateral that sits on the Symbiotic vaults. So this is how we structured the integration itself. And essentially, if those operators misbehave, or like if they emit the wrong message, if they approve or verify the wrong message, they could be slashed. So they will lose the funds that they have as collateral on the Symbiotic vaults because of that. But yeah, they also need to make sure, at least on the destination chain, that the message is coming from the right operator on the first chain. So yeah, they need to have these guarantees or collateral sitting on the Symbiotic vault. Otherwise, they could just like allow someone to mint LBTC on a new chain and
Mm.
mint indefinitely LBTC. So this is a security mechanism. They need it from the symbiotic standpoint. And yeah, it essentially makes sure that the operators follow the rules and that nobody is going to lose their funds.
Yeah. So yeah, because we know that Chainlink is a very, very big project, right? And then after we saw the news that Symbiotic is going to partner with Chainlink, that is super, super exciting news, right? So that's why I asked you this question. Yeah. So uh apart from that, I also saw that Renzo did their first major delegation on Cap network with Concrete as their first operator. So how
Mm.
does this impact and relate back to Symbiotic? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is going to be a bit more complex. So we'll need to cover the CAP's architecture here, which is like amazing. I really like that theme. So essentially, CAP is this stablecoin. A user can interact with the CAP app, for instance, deposit USDC as collateral, and borrow the stablecoin. The CAP stablecoin, it's CUSDC or CUSD. I think it's CUSDC.
Yeah.
And then you'll have like another third party that can be like a liquid fund, a non chain asset manager that will borrow the funds that the user is using as collateral. So the user deposits USDC, borrows CAP stablecoin, but then like flow traders will just like borrow USDC from the user, for instance. In that case, like you may think, okay, but if then flow traders or if any of those on-chain asset managers just disappear with user funds, then the stablecoin will become under collateralized. And that's true.
Mm.
And to solve that issue, that's exactly where Symbiotic comes in. Before that on-chain asset manager withdrawing and borrowing the funds that the user is using as collateral to back the price of the stablecoin, they will need to have at least the same amount of collateral sitting on a symbiotic vault. So that's exactly what Renzo is doing with Concrete. So Renzo is building the symbiotic vault. They are bringing funds via their network from the end users as well. The users deposit there. And then because we have the collateral sitting on the vault, Concrete will be able to borrow funds from CAP. So
Mm.
Concrete here is generating yield with the
I
funds
see.
that the users are using as collateral. And the funds, the collateral, because we here have two types of collateral. We have the collateral that the user deposits into CAP to borrow the stablecoin, and we have the second collateral, which is the collateral that's on the symbiotic vaults. The first collateral allows the users to borrow stablecoin. The second collateral allows Concrete, in this case, to borrow the first collateral. So yeah, it's a bit complex in that sense. But yeah, we need to make sure that Concrete just doesn't disappear with user funds that are deposited via the CAP frontend. And in order for them not to disappear, we have a collateral on the symbiotic vault. If they disappear, then the symbiotic vault will be slashed, but at least the stablecoin CUSDC is not going to depeg. So this is an insurance, a guarantee mechanism to make sure that we'll always have a $1 stablecoin live.
Ah, I see, I see. Oh my God. I think this is a very good explanation about Cap, Renzo, and the Symbiotic, right? Thank you so
It's
much.
going to be huge, man. It's going to be huge. This is a good mechanism. I'm expecting personally some new protocols to replicate the model, not only for like stablecoin specifically, but have insurance
Definitely.
in general. It
Definitely,
represents
this
like
is gonna be
insurance
big. Yeah.
or AI
I-
agents as well.
yeah. So I think right now the community also like, very excited about this so much. So we are looking forward to see the futures of what Symbiotic will execute more. Yeah. So
Bullish.
apart from the product side, Henrik, I also noticed that you guys were the title sponsor of Staking Summit Buenos Aires, right? So, what are some of the key takeaways from the event itself? Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So it was actually my first ever crypto event outside of Portugal that I attended. I attended at first the one in Istanbul, so it was
Mhm.
in 2023, actually, and it's
So
amazing
this is your
because
first time to fly out from
no,
Portugal.
it was in 2023. Yeah, I mean the first one was in 2023, the first that I attended. That one was in Istanbul, but
I
yeah, I
see, I
mean
see.
after that, I've been traveling quite a lot. So yeah, then I went. We had in Dubai this year already, and before that, yeah, the second one was in Bangkok. But yeah, we'll be traveling there. This conference is usually, as the name says, staking focused. So we'll usually find all of the major tier A node operators there, which essentially needs to run software and the binaries for our network. So any network that integrates with Symbiotic will eventually need operators. Operators can also be like funds, as I mentioned, concrete, but they are mainly null operator companies, null operator businesses, Skill P2P, all those guys. So it's important to meet them at least like once a year to discuss like what they have on the roadmap. It's also important to get their feedback when it comes to the networks that they are running binaries from and for. And because of that, like we can iterate on the product side. We get the feedback from those guys. They share usually a lot of extremely relevant feedback, so we can update and like iterate on the product side. And it's also important because it's a way we can actually support the networks building on Symbiotic as well. Many of them are traveling there and joining the conference, so they will have exposure to the node operators directly. We'll be able to like intro them to the operators, and they will start the discussion there essentially. Sometimes, like, it's not as easy for those networks to onboard operators, and they for sure need them to operate properly and, like, even to function at first. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it adds a lot of value, and we decided to sponsor as well because of that. So we can, like, give additional value to the networks that are already integrated with Symbiotic. And in addition to that, it's also like a great opportunity to also meet new potential target networks to integrate with Symbiotic, like networks that already work with node operators like Kiln P2P. It's a good opportunity for us, like, to meet them there to try to understand exactly what they need and how Symbiotic would be able to support them, specifically on the staking side. But like, we can also we usually support them throughout other components, including, for instance, like fundraising stuff. We help them because we are well connected with like tier one, tier two VCs, some liquid funds, some of them including AI agent protocols. They need liquidity as well. So we try to just like make the right intros and help them not only on the staking, but also like on the other side of the things. So yeah, I mean, it's a value add for us, for the operators and for the network. So it was the right choice.
Yeah, I think that is very cool when like when we host this kind of event, right? Or we sponsor this kind of event, so we expect to find like some of the good partners. Sometime we want to create some of the synergy between our project and other people in the crypto space, right? So this is a very good opportunity. Yeah, so can't wait to see what's gonna happen next after this event. Yeah.
Sorry, can
So
you repeat the question, please?
oh, no, no, nothing, nothing. So,
Okay.
uh,
Sounds good.
so my next question will be something around the community. So I think we also have so many news people joining us in today's sessions. So the question is, as a community member of Symbiotic, how can one get more involved? Maybe you can share a little bit more, like what the community member can do in the Symbiotic ecosystem or even in the Symbiotic community. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the most important thing, to be honest, is that we still need to deliver one message. And the message is that networks that are launching as of now, it's not sustainable if some choose to launch centralized and self-bootstrapped. If they try to like gather TVL and stake individually, they will end up paying an extremely high APY from the money that they raise from VCs. So it's not sustainable. They either like spend all the VC money, create artificially high APYs, and because of that, they may be able to attract stake and collateral to back their operations. But even if they can handle that, it's going to be like insanely expensive. And if they don't want to spend, or if they don't have any plans for that, it's not going to be safe for them, because the value at risk, they won't have like enough security against like attacks, for instance. And it's going to be like extremely easy for an operator or like an external party to perform an attack to that network, because they don't have enough collateral to back the operations, and funds can easily disappear. So they will have this trade-off to consider, and they need to actually like make a decision after considering the trade-off. So they have two options here. They try to do that. They either like spend a lot of money and become a bit more decentralized. Even on the first option, they may not use the VC funds, but in that case, they won't have enough security. And the second option, or the solution, is to launch decentralized with Symbiotic. They can access like collateral in a much cheaper way. The collateral is being shared with like 1, 2, 3 other networks. They are free to choose that as well. But we already have the TVL and the collateral sitting on the Symbiotic vault. So we just need to apply this collateral to new networks and to networks that actually need this collateral. So yeah, they will have these two options on the table, and we need to make them understand that the second option is the right choice. So I think the community can for sure help us on like delivering the messages and trying to bring those networks on board. So because like it's not asking them to do something, it's just making them realizing that if they are going with the first option, they will lose to networks that are following the second option that is building with Symbiotic. It's because like they either spend all the VC money, or if they don't spend the VC money, they will have a higher risk of being attacked. So the natural solution is to launch decentralized with Symbiotic, spend less money than they would have spent, and launch like much more decentralized, essentially, in a safer way, for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Henrik. Okay, cool. I think that's all from my end, but I will pick some of the question from the community. Maybe I will pick like 2 or 3 questions. Okay,
Sounds
so
good.
the first question from Pranshu. Pranshu was asking, as a DeFi user, the website UX looks complicated. Are going to be simplifying them? I don't know you can take this or not, Henrik, but maybe you can share your thought a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we are always iterating, so we are definitely open, and we appreciate feedback so we can improve. So yeah, please let us know like if you have any suggestions on what we should be doing, either on the front end, on the back end side of things. We are open like to take the feedback into consideration. When it comes to the UI and like user experience in general, the main focus has been to work on the reward side. So now we are showing already the points that the users will be earning, plus the tokens that you'll earn, like the APY that you'll be getting if you stake, for instance, with the STI per vault from Hyperlane. So yeah, we added that to the front end as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we have like any other major updates coming very short term to the UI, but happy to take feedback into account as well. For sure. Yeah, we have like the pages, we have the vaults page, we have the discover pages. So yeah, I mean, we do have actually a lot of vaults there, because we only accept 20 RC20 per vault, so they need to be isolated in that sense. But yeah, that's how exactly we achieve this modularity and customization for the networks and for the curators.
Amazing. Okay. Okay, this is quite long. Let me read. I really. Okay, so let me just summarize the question for you, Henrik. So the question from Andrew Glorious is, he mentioned that right now on our website we have so many vault, right? And there are different vault, different rewards, and now we also have the external reward as well. So will Symbiotic help user like him make a better restaking decision, or is the idea that we just explore everything oh, okay. So basically, will Symbiotic will help them to decide like what vault they should restake on, basically.
Um, we can do it. We can't do it directly, but our goal is also like to give the user the right tools and the best tools to actually make an informed decision. So we need like on our side to include everything as clear as possible when it comes to APYs that the users are earning. And we included those already, as you mentioned, including the external rewards on the front end. So that's one of them. But like at the end, the user needs to understand the risks that each vault has inherently. So you are delegating a vault, and the vault is allocating collateral to different networks. So I would suggest like to try to understand at first how the networks work and the associated risks. And that's actually good feedback. We can like also include some additional blog posts on the risks of each network. We were planning to do that already. So yeah, I mean, the user would need to consider the risks and then like just craft the strategy. You need to decide like a vault, probably like you first filter by collateral, the collateral that you have available to an additional APY, and then you just stake to a specific vault if you understand like the underlying risks of that vault. So I would suggest like at first to do that, and then it's a matter of like choosing the curator as well. If you trust one curator more than another, then yeah, I mean you could choose that one over the other as well. So that seems to be a fair point as well.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Oh, thank you so much, Henrik, for sharing the tips here. I think
Mhm.
that would be great as well if we can share more like information that that is related to the vault, right? So the community can decide like which vault they want to restake on. Yeah, basically. Okay. Let me see any question left. Okay, I don't think uh there is a okay, one sec. Machi. Oh, so integrate. Okay, so I think I will choose this question to be our last question for today.
Mhm.
The question from Machi. Machi was asking how will symbiotic integration with Chainlink, ZZIP, and Lombard help create a truly secure and cost-effective cross-chain Bitcoin transfer mechanism, and what risks for operators are covered by symbiotic vault?
Okay, yeah, good question. It's not going to be for native Bitcoin. It's going to be at first for LBTC. LBTC is the wrapped Bitcoin version of Lombard. So we'll be securing that route with Chainlink's CCIP. So LBTC that users want to bridge from Ethereum to any other chain will be done through Chainlink CCIP. And you'll have these two operators, one operator on the origin chain, in this case on Ethereum, and then another operator on the destination chain can be like Arbitrum or Base, for instance. And they need to communicate between each other. Essentially, the first operator is generating and emitting a message. And then the second operator is reading and verifying the message that the first operator sent. But the thing is that you can have like a third operator trying to communicate with the second one. So you have the first one on Ethereum, the second one on Base, and then you have like a third one, a malicious operator on Base as well, or even on Ethereum. We can do it on Ethereum, trying to replicate the action of the first operator and sending like a message, a malicious message to the second operator on Base. The second operator needs to make sure that that message, the malicious one, is not the correct one. And if they accept that message as correct, it will be slashed.
I see.
If they didn't have enough collateral, they wouldn't lose anything if they just accepted that message, the malicious one, as correct. But if they are backed by economic security, by collateral sitting on the symbiotic vault, they are essentially incentivized to perform the correct action, and they will be rewarded for that. If the operator would even have like access to user funds, in this case, I'm not sure yet, but even if they had access to any funds, either on chain A or chain B, then it would be mandatory for them to be backed by economic security. Otherwise, they could just like run away with the funds. And we see this a lot when it comes to AI agents. The AI agent needs to have collateral on the symbiotic vault. Otherwise, it could just disappear with the funds from the users.
That's great. That's great. I hope this answered your question, Mashi. All right. All right. I think we're late now, guys. So, yeah, Henrik, do you have any last word you want to share with the communities before we close the session?
Yeah, I mean, if you have any suggestions, anything that we should definitely take into account, feel free to ping us in like any channel here on Discord, Telegram, wherever. We are happy to like take that feedback, take everything into account. And yeah, I would just like ask you guys to help spread the message, because the networks will benefit from integrating with Symbiotic. We're not going to ask them, and we're not asking them to. We're not trying to convince them that this is like the best thing that happens in their lifetime, but it essentially represents a good competitive advantage over any other competitor that they have. And it also like saves a lot of resources when it comes to time, all that stuff. So it's crucial for them to understand that launching decentralized, secure, and in a cheaper way will get them a lot of competitive advantages for sure.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Guys, I think that's all for today's sessions. And yeah, we come to an end of today's sessions, everyone. And I hope you guys enjoyed during these sessions. And thank you so much, Henrik, for taking your time out for this session, sharing a lot of information and super interesting thing with us. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the time as well.
All right. Thank you
Thanks.
so much, everyone. We'll catch you guys again. By the way, right now, as you know, we also have the Symbiotic Poker. So you still have time to join, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, one of our team will be hosting the Symbiotic Poker in the Unwin Zone channel. So yeah, I'll see you guys there as well. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much, Henrik.
Perfect.
See ya. Have a good one.
Cheers. See you guys. Thanks.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.